There we go.
All right. We have returned. We have returned to the.
We've returned with audio, everyone. Thank you. Sorry about that audio issue. I'm not sure what was going on there. We had a little hiccup on our audio end here.
No.
Everything was looking good on our end, so thanks for letting us know in chat.
Yes, thank you. So I'm gonna go over there. I didn't pull that up yet. Uh,
That's fine.
all right. So there we are. Cool. Um, so yeah, the miniatures are by. I'm guessing they didn't get to hear anything in the beginning. Is that right?
No, no, we've apparently been sans audio this whole time, so we're just gonna basically start over. Hi,
All
everybody.
right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Primetime Painting. I'm your host, Tabletop Santa, aka Rick, and today we are painting the Epic Encounters box set by Steamforged Games for the Temple of the Serpent God, and it is the big boss box for their newest release, and it's pretty cool. We are also using the new paint Learn to Paint kit by Reaper, part of the Reaper Bones series, and comes with 11 paints, two brushes, looks like this, and there you go for the TikTok audience. Um, and it was in the retailer appreciation box for Gamma Expo this year, back in March. But now we're going to just bust it out and put it to use. And we're only going to use what's in this kit to paint this miniature, okay? Which should be interesting. Um, I did put another box off to the side, but I figured let's make it a challenge, right? And only use the colors that are available right in this kit. And for a miniature like this, only using 11 colors is going to mean that there's probably in the long run going to be some mixing to maybe achieve some other colors in the palette in the old color wheel to make sure that we get some diverse color schemes on this miniature. So I'm really digging that blue on the back scales there.
Yeah.
It's got kind of like a grayish blue to it. Uh, and it looks pretty wild. I'm digging it. And I'm also, for your guys' torture and pain, only using the two brushes that came with the kit. Right? So there's no large bristle brush to do mass coverage for base coating. So we're going to just deal with it and have some fun with it. It's almost like what's the cooking show where they mess you up? Is it Chopped? They give you
Uh,
like
all the random,
challenges.
yeah, all the random stuff in the box, and yeah, you just
Yeah,
have to make whatever's in the box. Yeah, that's kind of the challenge that you just put forth for yourself, isn't it? Like, I mean,
yeah,
you're painting a snake with no green. Like,
yeah,
that's an interesting challenge.
yeah. And I don't think there's a yellow in there, so I couldn't take a yellow and a
Yeah,
blue to make the green.
you're just gonna.
The yellow and green make blue. Yellow and green make blue. Um, there's an orange. There's browns. So I mean, we're going to be able to do some stuff here because, like I said,
Yeah,
it does have a very Mesoamerican vibe to it in regards to the sculpt.
yeah,
So I feel like it should have more vibrant colors. So I think the orange and the
yeah,
bright red will look good on here.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, orange is gonna have that nice contrast with that blue.
oh yeah,
You know, it's gonna pop nice as complementary, and you might even be able to, you know, blend that down into sort of a more natural brownie, like an orangey brown or even a bluey brown.
yeah. I think
Uh,
it's going to be super fun to have that contrast. It's gonna. I think the bottom I'm going to do browns on the just for that reason because I feel like so if I were this snake, right, and I was using this snake in a D&D campaign, which is a 5e compatible box set, right? Do the belly and browns, and it lays on its back so that its belly is up and thus blends more into the foliage of the ground, like
yeah,
the brown leaves and undergrowth and everything. but when it strikes is when it's like its full vibrant colors are explode into the battle. And
Yeah.
I think that'd be a, as far as like a cinematic visual, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cool. What's up, Big Daddy Grim? How you doing, Sue? It's good to see you all in the chat.
Reagan's
Um,
24 that, yeah, he's saying, is he doing chopped painting edition? We need like a random Sharpie or something in the box. Like,
right.
yes, I love that idea. My Tau army, I definitely use Sharpies to really fine point Sharpies to get into some of those to get some of those black lines on my models. I do not mind
hmm
admitting that I have used a uh, pen to
Oh,
um,
I mean, it's part of the toolkit. You can go
draw
to
my black
Michael's
lines.
or Hobby Lobby or any of those art supply stores and get the paint markers that are like
Mm-hmm.
a point zero tip.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you right now, when it comes to doing eyes on anything, if
Yeah.
I want to do eyes, I use a marker. I use a fine tipped paint marker.
I, it was literally a Sharpie that I took to some of my models to
You
get
just
that
took a
black.
Sharpie?
Like those fine point Sharpies, not like an actual like not like the big like when everybody says Sharpie, they think of like those big felt tip, but Sharpie
Yeah,
also
yeah,
makes these like those like really fine tip um
absolutely.
pens and like that can get you some nice stuff, you know.
Yeah,
It's
and
fun.
I'm guessing it worked out just fine, right?
It did. It looked great. I was really happy with them.
Yeah, that would be funny to be like, take a little box like this, paint box that all this came in, stock them all with different things, and do a competition where you can only use the equipment that is given to you. You can trade with other painters that are in the competition, but the
Mm.
trade has to be 2 for 1.
Ooh.
Like if you initiate the trade,
Yeah.
you have to give up 2 things to get the one thing.
Yeah. Hey, I don't mind the idea of us putting together a little box for you for Origins primetime painting when we stream primetime
Yeah,
painting in not primetime, because primetime painting is going to be on a special Friday edition in the
yeah.
afternoon for
I believe
Origins,
it's
just
4
because,
p.m.
yeah, all of our prime events are all sort of like we've got
Yeah,
other stuff locked in for our
yeah.
evenings. Um, but that might be a fun thing to do there. We put together a little paint set for you, a little challenge paint set with like colors from all kinds of different lines and
hmm
put them all together and hand it to you and
I
say
like,
like, let's
yeah,
see what you can make out of this.
a select brushes,
Yeah,
and then I do like the idea of maybe throwing in a couple Sharpie pens.
yeah. Just some weird stuff, right? Just
Yeah,
some like let's throw a mascara brush in there and like
yeah, I would use it.
let's see
I'd
what
figure
happens.
something out. Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
definitely figure something out with it.
yeah.
And and like you get points if you use everything in some capacity. Like I'd
Yes.
almost feel like while we're there, how many people could we have on camera painting? You think
Oh, I don't know.
2, 3?
We could certainly have a few. We'll be on camera with the stage, and we've
Mhm.
got seating. The seating for the stage area is tables, so people
Yeah,
can totally participate in the painting time while we're
yeah.
prime time painting. Like they can hang out and do that kind of stuff while we're there. Like join in on the virtual paint.
We are doing the naughty list over on TikTok. That's right. If you're joining us, you're part of the naughty list. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Just means you're naughty. Um, the the thing I was going to say is I know 2 people that are going to be at Origins that are like way better painters than me. Like one of them is a professional artist,
Sure.
and they run a stream called Realmsmith TV, and they usually are set up at Origins doing paint and takes with WizKids,
Hmm.
right? So WizKids will have
Yeah.
them
Well, and
set
we've got
up,
our
and
paint. Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So that's man, I'm having a brain fart right now.
Yeah. No, but I think
Jason
that's a great
Acevedo.
idea to yeah, maybe we'll get a few special guests on and we'll
Yeah.
have a group of we'll do a little chopped painting
hmm
challenge there. And
I think
Pat
it would be
plans
hilarious.
and Pat plans, you are right. Like black, white, and brown in the pantry for everyone to use. Like just
Right.
a cup just very, very basic, just those three
Hmm.
colors. So everybody's got a couple of basic things, but then yeah,
Yeah.
just a
And then
little
like each person only gets like one of any other paint lines color. Like one
yeah.
person will get, or everybody will get like one color from the Citadel contrast paint line, but nobody will have the same color.
Yeah,
Somebody will
and it
get,
will definitely not be complementary with any of the other colors that they have
oh yeah,
in their collection. You got to have something that's like very uh
yep,
yeah.
yeah, very like off putting.
Yep. And like
uh,
mix in and you mix in some weird stuff. Like you've got like one thing of testers and an
oh my
applewood,
god,
right? Like
yep,
just to really mess with people.
exactly. And to make it fair though, we would all have to paint the same miniature,
Ah, yes.
right?
Yep.
I mean, in as fair as that scenario can be, we'd all have to paint the same miniature, which I think would
Sure.
be freaking brilliant.
Ah,
Because one, they would all look different, and I think didn't you say we had it's a 2 hour slot,
yeah,
four to
yeah.
six?
So we're gonna do an extended show. So you got 2
Mhm.
hours. So it's a speed paint.
Yeah,
Still
and
two.
yeah, I think it would be great. That would be
Yeah.
super fun. The other
We'll do
person
something a
that,
little smaller than this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, it would actually be like a character miniature or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Something
But
on
the
a
other person that I have in mind is a gentleman by the name of Jake Krajensky.
okay.
And Jake is one of the owners of a retail location in Boston.
Cool.
And he used to work for Games Workshop
Oh, nice.
and is a phenomenal miniature painter and like a commission painter,
Very cool.
which I apologize to anybody watching. I will never do commission paints. Uh, I might give away something that I painted, but I'll never, just because I don't claim to be a professional high level painter. I paint for the miniatures to be looking good at 3 feet away on the table. Um, so that's just me. Uh, because there are way better painters out there that do commissions than what I do. And I would not want to be like, yeah, I painted this army for somebody as a commission, and then they saw it. And be like, why do they look like Hello Kitty? I don't know.
Speaking of painting for fun, what's everybody else working on right now? What do you have on your shelf that you're
Science.
painting away at?
Rickett says going quite wonderfully. Thank you. We're excited to watch Rick do some painting. Not a hobby I can perform, but I enjoy watching it. Once in a while. I appreciate you watching. Is he Anna Pat? How are you? I see
Oh,
you.
Marvel United. Nice.
Yeah, you
Those are
see that in the background?
fun.
You see that in the background?
Yeah. Well, I know seeing Anpad. Anpad Plans is working on her Marvel United.
Nice.
With their Marvel United. Uh,
So Anna Pat and Ricketts, even uh, if you don't see it, it's on the screen here. It says share your work and send an image of what you're working on or what some miniatures you've completed to the email address there, primetime@gamma.org. And in the upcoming episodes, we can peruse your miniatures, and we don't really critique, we praise,
yeah.
right? We praise the miniatures
Yeah.
because anybody that's going to take the time to paint a miniature deserves praise,
Yeah.
right?
And we
And
know
we
that
definitely,
people Yeah,
I'm
we.
sorry,
Oh, I was just gonna say we know that people have a lot of variety of different experience levels.
mhm,
So you know, if you've just gotten started and you've finished something, and it's like your first mini that you've finished, and that's what makes you really proud of it, like send us that and tell us the story of the paint
mhm,
in there, because we'll share that. Tell us the story of you, like of why this miniature is the thing that you're really excited about.
mhm.
Why do you want to share that? You know, and
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
it's your like first one and you don't know what you're doing and you're like, but I'm really proud that I finished it for the first time. Like, great. Yeah, we want to see it.
Because we're really proud for you.
Yeah.
If you know if it's a new hobby that you're delving into, we want to celebrate your putting your feet in the water with you for
Yeah.
sure.
And if it's your 6,000th miniature and it's the best thing you've ever done and you're amazing, we want to see that too, and everything in between.
Absolutely. There's so many talented artists out there, from the novice to the master painters that exist, and every single one of them brings something fun to the table, in the work, in their translation.
Hmm.
You know, because it's kind of funny. I could give this miniature to 50 people, right?
Yeah.
And I would get 50 different schemes on it,
Yep.
right? And it would all look amazing.
Yep.
Especially when you could ask them, well, why did you choose that color palette for that particular creature? And to hear the story of why they did is part of the process, so that we all enjoy in our hobby. So, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, that's, for me, like in the beginning, I said, do the bright colors on the top and the earth tone colors on the bottom, and it rests on its back so that it blends in a D&D adventure type scenario. That's how I think when I look at anybody's miniatures, like, ooh, how would I use that in a scenario in a game based on the color schemes?
Well, and the thing is that when you've got something that big, like big predators and stuff, they're often very colorful in nature, right? You've
Yeah,
got those very bright colors because it's I'm scary, stay away from me, is what
right.
those bright, colorful kind of designs, like, some predators want to stand out,
Yeah,
and is something that's, you know, however long that is, that's got to be 30 feet long or whatever,
yeah.
that's not really an ambush predator, right? Like, so
Mhm.
it's not going to be that, so
Right.
it doesn't need to blend in with anything. It's just going to jump out.
Yeah. I use the camouflage effect with some other creatures. So I
Mhm.
took WizKids makes a bunch of wyvern, makes a wyvern, right?
Yeah.
And I painted 3 different ones, all different colors, and to represent, like, this one would be a canopy wyvern that lives in the canopies of the jungle trees, and it blends in with the tree foliage. And then I did one that was all grays and looked like rock. I said this is a mountain wyvern, and then the other one was like, sandstone, and
Hmm.
it's a desert wyvern, so
Very
they could
cool.
all blend in.
Yeah.
uh, and I've used them in different adventures. And my my parties are always like, I knew we were going to fight a wyvern. I just knew it. But yeah, the other thing too is brightly colored creatures in nature tend to also denote like what sex the creature is.
Sure.
So if it's a female, right, a brightly, let's say it's a in the snake, in this particular one, if this was a female and it's super bright and vibrant, there could be the chances that there might be a male in the area as well that could, like,
Well, really, I mean, in nature, it's usually the males that are the more brighter
right,
colored,
yeah.
um, because they're the ones that are trying to draw the attention
Mhm.
and attract with their colors. Well, the
Yeah,
females are duller. When you look at like from mallards to peacocks
yeah.
to
Birds, fish.
insects, yeah,
Yeah,
birds, fish, insects, like
yeah.
it's just all across the
I
board.
think frogs as well tend to be in that same vein, like
Yeah.
amphibians.
Oh, I don't know.
So,
Maybe.
but
Yeah.
I like doing that too, because if they are like, oh my god, it's a male serpent, and then you're like, man, they're really going to town destroying this creature. It's not a challenge. Well, you know what? Here comes the female counterpart or the
Well,
male counterpart, depending on what kind of scenario you're trying to throw at them, just to bump up the critical rating
yeah. She's
of the
bigger and
scenario.
scarier.
Bigger
'Cause
and scarier, right?
that's how that that's often how that works too.
Yep. So yeah, it's super fun. Because every time I'm painting a miniature, I'm thinking like, what's the scenario around that creature? What is its um, like ecology? The
Hmm.
ecology of the creature. Why did it choose this area to nest? Is it truly like for this one, because it's Temple of the Serpent God? Is this truly like maybe an avatar to a serpent god of a local religion, and you have to, it's going to have like some legendary abilities that a normal like anaconda might not have, right?
Yeah.
But the good thing is, I'm gonna just take a break on this for a second because it's about at this time. Normally in our show, we would show some miniatures from some of the viewers, but what I want to do is in the book, the adventure book for this particular product, it does give you the stats of the creature, and what's kind of cool is it gives you three different levels of maturity. So you
Oh,
can fight it as an infant, which is a CR, Jesus, a challenge rating of 8.
yeah, Rick, if you want to slide that over a little bit so people can see some of
Sorry.
that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it starts off as a giant snake infant with a CR 8, with 119 hit points as an infant giant serpent. That's crazy, right? And that's just the first version of it. If you want to run a lower level event, then they have Giant Snake Mature, which has 218 hit points and is a CR 13,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it has some,
Hypnotic
hypnotic
glare. Ooh,
glare,
that sounds fun.
multi attacks, constrict, and then
Nice.
they have it as Ancient, which is 325 hit points. Oh, it has legendary resistance, meaning
Yep.
that if the snake fails a saving throw, it can choose to succeed instead 3 times a day. Also has a hypnotic glare, multi-attack, swallow whole, and body slam. And then it has other actions like multi-attack, bite, constrict. This is,
Yeah. And it has its legendary actions as well.
yeah, the legendary resistance is,
Or
I think
no,
it's
down below, I thought I saw didn't I see legendary
oh yeah, the
actions down there?
legendary actions, yeah, the multi-attack, swallow whole, and body slam.
Oh, nice.
It's like the snake uses the body slam cinematic moment, uh, which is
Destruct.
crazy. Yeah, it's super
What's
cool.
the CR on that last one?
Oh, I'm sorry, did I not?
I
It's
may have
probably, I
just
think it's
missed it.
gross. It's gross.
It's
It's a
CR a lot.
CR 17.
17. That sounds right. That sounds fair.
Yeah. I mean, granted, a CR 17, you could technically go in with like level 15s and it would be a challenged event.
Yeah.
Or should be.
I mean,
Um,
I'd want to run that thing with some other stuff anyway. Like I'd rather run with like some level 17s or 18s and like
mhm,
you see all the snakes on there, I'd run with a few snakes, I'd throw in a few cultists. Like that final encounter should have, it's got to have some other
mhm,
fodder in there. And maybe even, you got some cultists in there for it to eat and grow stronger maybe.
mhm.
Like, if it's this like you were saying, if it's like a summoned god, like,
Yep.
throwing some cultists, it summons up, and like the first thing it does is consume one
Yeah.
of its own worshippers.
And
Just
gains a hit point bonus, or heals lost hit points based on the sacrifice of its.
yeah,
That's scary. That's super scary.
yeah. And
Because
Pat Plant says, the cult of the TPK.
but the thing is with that scenario, it does have, a lead up to the final combat, which you do fight serpents, or lizard folk,
hmm
and it comes with lizard folk tokens and
Nice.
stuff. But if you have the box set that is the lizard folk box set, then you can just use the actual miniatures from that to
Nice.
represent that. And of course, you can always, like you said, if the party coming in seems like it's even at the fighting the ancient level, it's going to be a little more beefy or meatier against this creature. You could be like, yeah, I'm going to have five cultists and one high priest as well. And the five cultists are literally just food fodder to heal the creature,
hmm
if necessary. And you can throw all sorts of fun spins in it.
Yeah.
And like on the base of this, you've got smaller snakes,
Yeah.
right? Which could be highly venomous and also threats to the party,
hmm
which I think is super cool. I'm going to show this to the folks over here on TikTok as well, just so you
Yeah.
can see the progress. It's slow going because of the size of this brush, and the fact that I'm talking so much, but nobody likes dead air, right?
Yeah. I
Uh,
always like my encounters to be more than just one beefy thing that's just a
yeah,
pile of hit points, right? You need to have something else to make that
yeah,
dynamic and interesting, right? Add something else into that mix. I'd much rather throw something a little CR a little lower than where my players are, at
Mhm.
difficulty, since CR is kind of,
Yeah.
but a difficulty level that's a little lower, and throw in some extra stuff. And even if it's just like, even if those cultists are just, first level, like, one hit
Minions.
die, yeah, one hit point minions, like, throw a bunch of them in there, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like they're literally like if you think about the scene from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom,
Yeah.
where you have uh, the priest of Kali, and you have all those worshipers on the other side doing the chant. You could throw all those worshipers. Like, who's to say that when you go into the temple of the snake god, that there isn't 15 or 20 worshipers that are there chanting, bringing the serpent god into the prime material plane,
Hmm.
and then yeah, which is maybe why you're there to stop it from happening.
Yeah.
And it gets hairy.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of fun stuff for sure that you can throw into this.
Yeah. Heck, you could make. You were talking about the base with the snakes. Like,
Hmm.
grab the swarm of snakes uh,
Yeah.
template, and just graft it onto there. So it's just like,
Mhm.
oh, it's a snake, but it's that giant snake, but then it's also constantly surrounded by a swarm of snakes. So you have to decide what you're going to target between those two things too.
Yeah.
And there's
Like
like
I
this
would
whole
almost,
secondary effect.
yeah, I would almost say that as another legendary action, like maybe again 3 times a day, it could also summon Snake Swarm,
Yep.
because that just seems like something this particular
Yeah.
bad guy should be able to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Turning it into like a true, like you said, avatar of a snake god, and
Hmm.
not just a giant snake that's scary, but uh,
Hmm.
a representation of a
Yeah. And
demonic force.
yeah, and if you think about it, if it's the snake god, right, or an avatar for the snake god, it should be able to call upon a lot of the different powers that different snakes have, or different abilities,
Yeah.
like a spitting cobra, right? Because
Yeah.
if you look inside the mouth here, it's got an area right there where it could like spit a neurotoxin or some
Yeah.
sort of like agent that could hold person, right? It could lock you up
Yeah.
if you get it and you fail your saving throw versus it, right? And then it, of course, it has a venomous bite, like a
Yeah.
cottonmouth or a cobra or a
Yep. Hey, poison
rattlesnake.
condition is not pleasant.
No, it is
Difficult.
not.
Disadvantage on attacks, not fun. One, even for like other systems, this is like, even if you're not like a D&D player, if you're into other
Right.
role-playing games or something, like, this is a great final thing for a
Hmm.
bunch of like Lovecraftian cultists to be summoning up, right? Like, this thing's
Oh
right out of
yeah,
Call of Cthulhu.
absolutely. Yeah, a bunch of cultists that have been doing an archaeological dig down in Central South America, and they
Yeah.
come across this, and then they fall under the spell of it. They become insane,
Yeah,
right?
sure. Because it's Cthulhu.
Right, right. And then you and your investigators are like, yeah, we this particular scientist went missing, this archaeologist, and we've been sent down here to follow their steps and then do some investigations into their whereabouts, and then come to find out that that particular archaeologist is now like the high priest.
Yeah. Oh,
It's like, oh
nice.
no.
I
And
like
why
it.
not? Why not summon an elder god
Sure.
back onto into the world in a Lovecraftian setting? That would
Absolutely.
be so cool. Yeah, I love where your mind's at with that, man.
Hey, these miniatures are so evocative, really, that they just ooze ideas for a
Yeah.
campaign. I mean, you could do that. You could, you know, like, you could do a comic book thing with Snake Cult.
Yeah.
I mean, there are, right, what's the DC? DC has a whole Snake Cult, like Copperhead, I think, and I don't know.
Yeah. He's part of the Legion of Doom.
Yeah, but then
Uh,
there's a specific there's actually like one of the like there's the blood cult, there's the brother
yeah,
blood cult, but then there's
yeah,
also a snake cult in the DC universe too.
yeah.
And I don't remember what it's called. If anybody in
I
chat
can't.
remembers.
If anybody in chat or on TikTok knows or remembers, yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that definitely with especially with all the superhero role playing games coming out. You know, you've got the Marvel RPGs coming out. Matt Forbick is
Oh,
working on
cool.
that. Super excited for that. So Matt,
Oh, yeah, Cobra Cult. Thanks, Rick. Yeah.
is it Cobra
Yeah, it's just
Cult?
it's Cobra Cult with a K. Yeah,
Okay,
Cobra with a K.
that's
Cult.
right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Cobra. Yes. The
nice.
other Cobra. But
The other
hey,
covers.
isn't there a new is there a new I wanted to say there was a new G.I. Joe thing in the line too.
Yeah, Renegade Game Studios has just announced a that they're I think it's first quarter of 2022. We're gonna get the GI Joe RPG as well as Transformers and new My Little Pony and Power Rangers RPG.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah, Cobra.
yeah. And with that blue, that would be great for
Yeah.
that look cuz there's so much blue and red in the
Oh yeah,
Cobra design for G.I. Joe. Like
that's
especially if
true.
you tap into the G.I. Joe, the old animated movie. Uh,
Hmm. With
dating ourselves
Serpentor.
here. Yeah, that original one.
Yeah, the one that had Serpentor.
Yes, that's his name, Serpentor. Yeah.
That was a very interesting story arc.
Yes.
Um, yeah, we had some fun stuff in our cartoons in the day.
Well,
Uh,
that was such a weird thing with that movie because like classic GI Joe, Greater Than Joe movie is my favorite GI Joe work to date. Yeah, classic GI Joe movie. Yeah, it's wild. The crazy thing is, what is it? Like they backpedaled at the last minute, right? They were going to do the same thing that they did with the Transformers movie, and kill off our big hero, right? Kill off Duke, and
yeah.
replace the whole line with other things, and then like after the intense negative reaction of Optimus Prime dying, they like dubbed over the thing that he's just in a coma.
Yeah, he needs the alt spark.
No, 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 no. The GI Joe, like when he gets hit with the snake,
Yeah.
he's supposed to he's that was supposed to kill him.
Oh, okay.
Like in the original script, like, and you could tell, like watching it as
Oh,
that he's supposed to be dead there. Everybody's
geez.
reacting like he's dead, and but the audio is different. They like
Mm,
changed it in they did some
okay.
re-record of audio and changed it, and he's like in a coma. Oh, he's in a coma,
Okay.
and everybody's super sad that he's in a coma. I mean, you'd
Right.
be super sad that someone was in a coma, but like
It's
they're it feels very final, even though it's not.
right.
Even though they're clearly saying that it's not, and that was a reaction to Optimus Prime's death that also got
A lot
reneged
of hate.
on.
Yeah,
Right? Like they brought him back too. Hey, I know you like talking Netflix.
I
I've
do. I was just about to say something about Netflix and maple syrup.
oh,
That's
I was gonna say some stuff about Netflix and
do it.
Transformers
Let's go
because
with it.
I just started because we just recently re-upped our Netflix, so I have just started all that War of Cybertron,
Oh,
the
nice.
trilogy of series that like
Okay.
started last year, and it has been very enjoyable as like a walk down memory lane for me.
All right.
I was a big Transformers fan as a kid, so like
Nice.
that was my jam when I was little. So like
I mean, it was so good,
getting back to
right?
G1,
Who's
yeah.
who is your and everybody in chat and on TikTok,
Oh, yeah.
who are your favorite, like your favorite GI Joe and your favorite Transformer?
Ooh, GI Joe is tougher. I didn't watch as much GI Joe. I mean,
Mhm.
like, and I want to try and get that one done and out of the way because I I mean, Snake Eyes was always awesome. Everybody's favorite is Snake Eyes, right? Like I just feel
Sure.
like, oh, saying Snake Eyes is but who I really liked was and I can't remember all these names because like I didn't really watch that much G.I. Joe, but the sailor guy, like with the old school
Shipwreck.
Shipwreck. Yeah,
Shipwreck.
I was a big fan of Shipwreck.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought
Okay.
he was fun.
My
Um,
favorite, my favorite Joe was Doc, the corpsman, which is I actually became a corpsman in
mm,
real life.
very cool.
So now you're a transformer.
Oh, that's just a brutally hard decision for me. And it depends on your generation too, because like I
Sure.
loved the Technobots in the later seasons.
Okay.
I love Grimlock. I think he's
So
just
good.
hilarious, especially like post movie. Like he gets funnier, and they realize that Grimlock is really comic relief, and
Yep.
that was a brilliant realization on their part. Um, and like, oh, and then for bad guys, it's got to be Soundwave. Like
Soundwave is mine. Yep.
Soundwave's
100%.
Soundwave's so awesome. He's just
Yep.
like,
He was my favorite. Uh, I didn't really have a favorite like hero in the like an Autobot.
mhm.
I really, I would say, what was the Prime that was bigger than Optimus? That um,
Oh, the big tank. Uh,
the it was it basically was a like another big truck that Optimus could actually drive onto.
oh, Ultra Magnus.
Yeah, I think it was Ultra Magnus. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah,
I like Jazz. Uh, in almost every iteration they've done of Jazz, it's been pretty fun.
Jazz was fun.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, freaking
Jazz
Soundwave,
is a little
so good.
Jazz is a little problematic
And
looking
I
back on
would,
it. Like having watched
oh
some
yeah,
stuff like in it, like modern iterations, like he is very much of Jazz is very much of his time. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, there's definitely some problematic elements of of that portrayal.
yeah.
Uh, that's
But I loved him. I thought he was a great
hmm
character. And like even in the movies, he's like no nonsense. It's like
yeah.
we're gonna kill them all. What? Jazz? Whoa, slow down. Man. And then as far as the maple syrup conversation, um, I tried some Michigan Pure this
Mm-hmm.
week, this past like week,
Mm-hmm.
which is harvested here in just outside of Lansing,
Sure.
and it was good. It was
Hey, I'm a fan.
really sweet
Yes.
um, compared to some of the other ones that I enjoy.
Yeah, I know that maple syrup well, having grown up in Michigan and lived
Mhm.
in northern Michigan before I moved down here to northern Indiana. So, uh,
Yeah, it
I
was good. I enjoyed it. My brother uses it as a topping for ice cream, for vanilla ice cream.
mm-hmm.
I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I did not know that people didn't know that that was a thing.
I mean, it's funny because like I was born and raised here in Michigan, but I never did it
Eh,
as a kid. Because I mean, I left Michigan when I turned 18, and this is my first time back, and I'm,
mm-hmm.
I'm not 18 anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize, and I'm sorry to say it, but I am not 18. Um, but we did not use it on ice cream at that on the day we had it. It was just we had dinner for our breakfast for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and but I will be trying it here in the near future, and I will report back as to my findings.
It wasn't a common choice for me, but I know that
Mhm.
that that was definitely a thing that I knew other
Yeah,
people enjoyed. And it's like I think it does sort of fall into that like fry and frosty or like ketchup and ranch dressing kind
yeah,
of thing that's just like a little bit of an unlikely combination that it's
Right.
like, oh yeah, this is really good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I will also admit, now that I am back here in my home state after almost 31 years, I will be seeking out and having a nice cone or cup of Superman ice cream,
Oh yeah.
which I again haven't had in 30 plus years. I'm
You,
hoping it's as good as I remember.
yeah, and you can find pretend Superman ice cream in a lot of places, but
Yeah, it's not the same.
it's not the same.
So I'm going to give that a
Strauss.
shot. So let's see. Nobody else has commented on which
No, I haven't seen anybody
that
in
makes
chat.
me sad.
Yeah, maybe we're the only. I mean, clearly Ricketts 24. You're a classic GI Joe fan, so but
Right?
maybe everybody else is a little younger, or not maybe just not the fans of that. What's your favorite classic animated cartoon show from your childhood? What do you feel
Uh,
that nostalgic urge for, chat? What are you guys thinking
so
about?
you asking this question is a telltale sign that you and I are newly acquainted individuals. If you were to ask anybody that is like a close circuit in my circle of friends, they would immediately tell you which animated classic is my favorite. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to say the opening credits for it. In the year 1994, a runaway planet collided between the Earth and the Moon, unleashing cosmic destruction. The Earth was destroyed, civilization ruined. 10,000 years later, the Earth is reborn, a savage new world of science and super sorcery. One man breaks his bonds with his faithful companions, Ukla the Mock and Princess
Oh
Ariel,
yeah.
and his fabulous
Oh,
sun sword. He is Thundar, the
Thundar.
Barbarian.
Oh yeah, Thundar.
I know
Yeah.
I made a couple mistakes in there, but it's pretty much the opening credits.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that was not like that was not one of mine, but like in that group, like I loved Space Ghost and I
Space Ghost, so
loved
good. The
oh,
Herculoids.
yes, the Herculoids. That was the other one that I was going to say,
Yep.
like Space Ghost and the Herculoids. That
Yep.
was
There was even some crossover episodes
yeah.
between them, which I thought was awesome. Because
Yeah,
the Herculoids was always like a Swiss Family Robinson or Lost in Space kind of scenario,
definitely.
right? And that here comes Space Ghost, and it's like I can get you off this planet. And they're like, yeah, we good. It's like,
I have a spaceship and everything.
right? It's such a I love Space Ghost. I
I
also
I
love the comedic iterations of him in later content.
yes, that too. And Pat, I don't know Croft Superstars. Does that sound familiar to you, Rick?
What? Croft Superstars and Pat Plans is killing it with pulling out some like
I'm
old
gonna have
school stuff.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
I am not familiar with that one. And
Yeah,
what's funny is like we have this like my little circle of friends, we have this conversation on the monthly about like old cartoons, like Brave Star. And if y'all remember that one where, his horse was like
oh,
Trigger.
the Bay City Roll. It was renamed as the Bay City Rollers Show.
No, I am not familiar with that. That sounds
I'm
interesting.
looking it up. Yeah, Horror Hotel, Lost Island.
Sue over on TikTok's like, I remember that. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, Thunder the Barbarian was such a good cartoon. And it only had like 1.5 seasons. So that's like the sad part of it.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean,
but
so many shows in the like like the mid '70s to like the mid '90s is just the era of like, let's make a 13 episode run of this toy to try and sell, or let's make
right.
you know 13 episodes of this. We've got a toy. we've got to make a cartoon to go with our toy. Let's
Yeah.
make the thing, and we'll do 13 episodes, and then
If the toys are successful, we'll do more.
yeah, and then they rarely were.
Right. I mean, if anybody watched the Netflix series, The Toys That Made Us, uh, they definitely talk about that whole like everybody in that time was looking for the next IP that they could turn into a toy and make a cartoon to advertise it as a marketing tool platform, which I thought was brilliant. It just sucks that it doesn't work today. You can't a lot of unless it hits like mass market success in regards to like Rick and Morty. Most cartoons today don't have the same merchandising push or
Yeah, I mean there's some law changes too, and then also yeah, some of the model for that. Yeah, Ampat also mentions Ultraman and Kimba the White Lion. Yeah, Ultraman
yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So I talked to the folks that own the license for Ultraman this week, um, but there was no, we couldn't come to like a common ground on how I could help them,
Mm.
which is fine. But I was
Ah,
super excited to have the conversation.
sure.
It's like, yeah, you guys have Ultraman. That's freaking amazing. Hey there, how is the naughty list going? It's growing well. Yeah, Bluish Yellow, you just joined it. But I am painting this miniature for everybody just as a reminder. The miniature I am painting tonight is from the Serpent of the, or Temple of the Serpent God from Steamforge Games. It is the Big Boss Box miniature. And it's been super fun because we're doing like a chopped on it. I think for the next episode, we'll do the same. We'll continue with this miniature and work with the same paints as well. Just kind of have fun with it and just kind of see how it progresses along. I personally, we are getting down to the end of our hour of painting.
Oh yeah.
This week we'll be at Dragon Con in Atlanta. I leave in the morning to fly down. So if anybody watching is going to be there as well, I would love to meet up with you, hang out, talk talk about all the fun games and nerdy stuff that we enjoy. I'll be doing a lot of like TikTok content uh, on my Tabletop Santa TikTok account. I'll probably even oddly do a few for the Origins Game Fair one to kind of show some live people at tabletop spaces with it, so we don't have to capture like any Dragon Con imagery, but to kind of show you like, hey, this is the kind of stuff you can also expect at Origins Game Fair.
Which is coming up soon, everybody. We are a month
Yeah,
out from Origins Game Fair, so if you are
that's
not
right.
registered yet, don't have get your registration, take a look at events. Event lists are up, everyone. So take a look at that. So
Lots of fun stuff.
yeah, get ready to sign up. Remember, if you can't make it to Columbus for Origins Game Fair, we are doing tons of online events. We are going to be streaming here like crazy, and you can also play in a bunch of awesome online events while you're doing that too.
Yeah,
So check out all that and sign
yeah,
up for cool
you can
stuff. Get that
check it out
con
at Origins.
experience.
What is it? OriginsGameFair.com.
OriginsGameFair.com.
We'll get you there. And also make sure that you are, if you're on Twitch watching, give us a follow here. Hit that little bell so you get alerts, because though I want you to always come back and watch me paint miniatures and have these fun conversations that we find ourselves in. There are other amazing programs that are on the Origins Game Fair Twitch channel, to include the Otaku,
Yep,
Anime
Tabletop
Otaku,
Otaku.
Tabletop Otaku.
Tabletop Otaku Wednesdays at 10 o'clock. We
Mhm.
go that kind of late. It's our late night chat about awesome stuff. Like Ultraman would actually fall into that kind of stuff because it's
Mhm.
definitely like Japanese pop culture and gaming. So if you wanted to talk about your idea for an awesome Ultraman board game or RPG, then yeah, definitely
That would be
like head
cool.
over there. But yeah, we usually talk about cool anime shows and the board games that are inspired by them. vice
Nice. And
versa.
you just recently had Eric Price from Japanime Games on.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we played some uh, Tanto Cuore. I always pronounce that
Corey?
wrong. Yep.
Yeah,
So we played
cool.
that on their new app for the game. So you can
Okay,
download and play digitally of that. It's an awesome little deck builder. So great fun
nice.
stuff. Super
I
cool.
think if I remember right, I'm probably wrong because I usually am. I believe that game was, or no, that's Kamagami or Kamagama. Rich Gaines was the designer of one of those games. I think it was Kamagama. It's like a
Very
battle
possibly.
card battle game,
Okay.
but it's by Japan Games as well.
Mm, yeah.
Super awesome stuff.
Yeah. And then we had the folks from the new My Hero Academia CCG that's coming out. Uh,
Okay.
so that was really exciting. They showed off some of the cards. We learned about how to play. That was really fun. Yeah, we get a lot of indie designers too. So Sword Queen Games and um, Ash Kreider, who did an awesome RPG based around um, it, very much inspired by Howl's Moving Castle, which was
Oh, nice.
super cool. Just a really neat, very emotional, sort of personal experience of a role playing game. Really, just kind of an awesome, different kind of feel from this like charge in tactical combat, fight the monster kind of stuff that so often uh, gets chatted about.
That's super cool. I think, and then there's some other content that it finds itself onto the Origins Game Fair channel as well.
Yeah, we just did
More
a
industry related stuff, which is really good information and fun to follow along. So again, make sure you hit that heart to follow us, hit the bell so you get alerts so you don't miss out on anything. And again, go to originsgamefair.com to if you want to participate either in person at the show in Columbus, Ohio, which is September 30th through October 3rd, I believe.
yep.
And then in tandem with that is also the virtual event. So if you cannot attend the physical event, you can always participate in the virtual event. So you can find more information about that there as well. And then finally, because it is time, we have come to the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen. You can find me, Tabletop Santa, on all social media platforms as Tabletop Santa, but I am mostly active on the TikTok platform. And if you are into board games, Dungeons and Dragons, miniature painting, dice, all the fun stuff that takes place in the tabletop arena, you can find my content to kind of land in that space. And you can also follow a bunch of publishers, and there's a bunch of other amazing creators over there that are playing in the tabletop space. So go check them out. So on that note, I'm Rick, aka Tabletop Santa, and I'll see you at Origins Game Fair.